Kalashnikov unveils an electric car. 79 years ago today, Nazi Germany invaded Poland. We talk baby poop smoothies. And we answer a couple of your questions from the mailbag. I am Aaron, and this is the very first episode of the Gideonstactical Show. Well, so much to get to today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on our pilot episode, our first episode of the Gideonstactical Show. Much different than our reviews that we do of gear week in, week out that we've been doing for about 6 years now, over 6 years. Really taking it to a different level and an entertainment level. And that's the idea with this show, is giving you guys a level of entertainment, just giving you information. We're gonna do stuff from the mailbag to news to stuff I'm testing out, interviews with people that are in different industries and different lifestyles, and just all those different things that you're gonna get here on these episodes that we're going to do once a week for starters. Depending on popularity, we may add more to it, but once a week you can expect to see these Gideonstactical shows. So with that, I'm just going to jump to it so you guys can get a flavor and see what we are doing here today. And like I said in the intro, Kalashnikov, the company that is known for making really the world's most distributed military firearm, the AK-47, launched in 1947, has come out with an electric car. Now, this was released on August 23rd, 2018, and this is from AFP, if I am reading that correctly, off of Yahoo News. Just came across this, and these articles that I'm going to do when we do news are just interesting, topical, and just, in my mind, funny, because you know, anyone who's kind of in the outdoor world, maybe you're into firearms or whatever, you know the AK-47, the Kalashnikov. I mean, it's on countries' flags. I mean, that's how iconic it is. And I'm just going to read this here to you. Russian arms maker Kalashnikov on Thursday presented its new electric car inspired by a rare 1970s model from, I guess, the USSR, saying the new technology will rival Elon Musk's Tesla. Okay. The brand best known for AK-47 machine gun, I think that's hilarious, machine gun, presented the decidedly retro-looking pale blue prototype, the CV1, at a defense expo in Moscow. And it goes on from there to just talk a little bit about it, that it was based off of some hatchback from the Soviet Union back in the 1970s. It's going to be an electric supercar, is what they, in quotes, electric supercar. And they have some new revolutionary inverter. The vehicle will be able to travel 350 kilometers on one charge. And it goes on from there. You can go ahead and do your own research on the CV-1. But I just think that is hilarious that the firearm manufacturer, most iconically known in Russia, Kalashnikov, has decided to put their foot into car manufacturing. I don't know if they make other cars and they did rifles and cars. That wouldn't surprise me, but to come out with an electric car, I will try to be throwing up, as we've been talking, a screenshot of this thing. Looks very interesting to me. 6 headlights, just hilarious to me. I hope that they will do better than Elon Musk's Tesla, you know, being known for, from time to time, lighting on fire. That would be the worst. At least most AKs don't light on fire when you use those. But, I mean, if they're trying to set a precedent with their vehicle, maybe in, 50 years we'll be turning around and the CV1 will be all over the world being used as an electric vehicle. Who knows? And, the third world will have their AK and their CV1, and maybe they'll sell them in a bundle pack. Who knows? But very interesting stuff. Maybe we'll see what comes out of Russia, and maybe they will absolutely be able to rival what Tesla and other electric car companies are producing. I just thought that was hilarious and figured I would just share that with you. And very interesting. It's very interesting that a gun company would want to try and get into car manufacturing. So we will see. Time will tell with the CV1. Next up on our news segment, just want to give you guys some other updates, just things that I have either discovered, found. One thing, and it's been a really soft launch, so I don't really know what's going on, but 511 has released their AMP series. They showed these off at SHOT Show and have been kind of teasing them all year long. And about now almost 3 weeks ago, I went into my local 511 store, and they happen to have a section with all of their AMP gear. And if you're not familiar with AMP, this stands for All Mission Packs, and they are going to have just kind of, I thought it'd be more like All Mission Platform. Yeah, they have 3 different packs, 12-hour, 24-hour, and 72-hour. They have plate carrier, and they have a bunch of modular systems that will go with it, as well as their hex grid. This is kind of a new thing that they're doing, so you can MOLLE attach things 360 degrees basically in any different direction. So it's a very cool system. I do have the 24-hour one with several different attachments that I purchased that day when I saw them. I was like, oh dude, I gotta get my hands on them. So I'm kind of surprised. Maybe they just did like a short run to kind of get the ball rolling before they're gonna do like a blowout launch, but they are available. If you look on the 511 website, if you look on their stores and you go to one of their local stores, you will see in most of those locations some of their amp stuff. So I'm just giving you guys kind of a breaking news heads up that they are available, and then I guess at some point in the near future they will probably do a big massive launch. I am testing out a bunch of them. I have all of their adapter pieces. I am getting my hands on one of the plate carriers. I have the 24-hour. I'm going to get the 12-hour as well and give you guys a thorough review incoming probably in a month or two once I can really get a good feel for this gear. But very cool, very exciting, but a very soft launch apparently from 511. Not sure why, but I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. You can check them out. And before we move on from our news segment, just wanted to give you also this informational news drop here, is that Benchmade has also come out recently and announced that they are going to soon be releasing the 200 Puko. You can see it on their website. I'm pulling this off of their website when I'm giving you guys this information. And basically, they've decided to go with a 3 3/4 inch Puko design with a nice leather sheath. I'll be running in a photo if I can here. And it looks very doable. You know, it basically looks like a Mora, I believe it's 611. But, you know, obviously with premium materials. And I believe, from what I understand, it's their very first jump into using CPM 3V steel. I believe they have not used that on any of their other steels before. I love that steel, so that's really exciting that they are jumping into that, and hopefully we'll see that in some of their upcoming designs in years to come. But it definitely looks like a very doable bushcraft knife. It looks like it's got a high saber grind. It's got a really nice dangle leather sheath, and it seems to be coming at a pretty decent price. MSRP looks to be $145, so Benchmade's pretty tight on their MSRP stuff, so you'll probably find it for like $135, which for everything I'm seeing there is very, you know, doable in the market. And I think for those of you particularly who are into bushcraft and just like those little compact kind of Puko, Mora, I know Tops has some like that, you know, design knives. It looks like Benchmade is producing something pretty sweet that should be out on the market soon. I will eventually probably get my hands on it and test it as well, but just want to give you a heads up on that. You can go check that out over on the Benchmade site. All right, we're going to take a quick time out here to do a little commercial for you. I want to let you guys know about the new affiliate. If you've been watching the channel lately, you know this new one. Knockaround Sunglasses recently landed an affiliate program with them. Now, if you're like me, you're tired of either going to like the dollar store or Ross and just finding like some random kind of haphazard pair of sunglasses. They're usually heavily over tinted. You can barely drive with them before you're going to wreck the car and slam into something, or you're constantly squinting because of how dark they are, or you're tired of dropping $100, $200 on a pair of Ray-Bans or Oakleys, and you're concerned that you're going to lose them, crack them, break them, or your kids are going to, you know, stretch them all out and snap them in half. Well, there is an alternative, I believe, with Knockaround sunglasses. I went out, purchased a few of these a few months ago, and loved them so much that we were able to now have a connection with them. So there's a link in the description below. What I love about Knockaround is not only are they from my home city of San Diego, but they have tons of options, and they're all great prices, and from everything that we've been using here at the channel, great quality as well. You can get polarized, non-polarized. The non-polarized ones will have that 400 UV protection. You can get aviator styles. They have female styles. They have kids styles. They have tons of stuff on sale that you can get for like under $15. I think the most expensive model they have is $35 or $40. You do have the option to customize as well. So they have a customizable store that you can make your own flavor. They have limited runs that they release every month, different designs, different things like that. So it's super cool. And so an awesome way, you guys, it's free for you. You just use the link and then get yourself an awesome setup on some sick sunglasses, and we get a small kickback and helps us make content just like this. So if you're in the market for either gift giving or receiving and purchasing for yourself some sunglasses for you or the family, check out Knockaround Sunglasses. We're loving them here over at the channel and the GT family. Well, with that, we're going to go to a segment that I call History Rewind. It's a double double whammy there. We're going to go back in history and rewind to get to that history, I guess. But yeah, it could be that in this segment, we look at a historical figure, we look at a historical moment in time, a situation, things like that, whatever it may be. But just to talk a little bit about history. I love history. It's something that I believe if we forget our history, we are doomed to repeat it. I can't remember who said that, but somebody very important in history said that. So with that, it's interesting that we are launching this first episode, this pilot of the Gideon's Tactical Show on September 1st. And 79 years ago today, on September 1st, 1939, Nazi Germany invaded Poland and launched basically the first moment launching the world into World War II. And it's really interesting as you look at that moment in time, the night before, so August 31st basically, Nazi operatives had posed as Polish military officers to stage an attack on a radio station, I'm going to totally butcher this, in the Silesian city of Galinsk. I don't know. I'm totally jacking that up. I should know better. I took 2 years of German, but whatever. Anyway, so basically, in a nutshell, German operatives disguised as Polish soldiers blew up their own radio station to then have an excuse to invade Poland the next day. And that's where we saw the first launch of the Blitzkrieg, and meaning lightning war, and we saw the world plunged into World War II, a second world war that devastated and ravaged the world for several years after it. And it's just interesting. I've always been a buff of World War II. I think it's very interesting, not only the political side and just how the countries worked, and the Japanese and the Germans and the Americans and the Europeans, all that stuff, all just working together, and how it was an absolutely global conflict. And it just is a stark reminder that there is evil in this world. You know, some people don't like to say that, you know, that they don't like to admit that. I absolutely believe that there is absolute evil in the world. We saw that throughout the 20th century, not only with Nazi Germany, but Stalin, the Soviet Union, and all just the rise of communism and the genocides across the world in that way. And it just is a reminder to us that when we see evil, we must call it out. And you saw that Nazi Germany and Hitler had such boldness to do what they did to plunge the world into war because no one was willing to stand up to them and call what they were doing evil and say, no, you are not allowed to do that. We're going to stand up to you. The world was exhausted from World War I. They did not want to get back into another world war. They would rather appease and placate. And just that us as humanity need to remember that we cannot appease and placate evil and say, oh, well, someone else will deal with it. Oh, if I turn a blind eye, it'll just go away. It will not go away. It will continue to grow unless it is confronted. And when good people confront it and say, no, that is wrong, and I will not allow it. And we've seen that throughout all of world history. And usually it always comes too late. You know, there are, if you do a bunch of research and history, you know, there are many different opportunities that we could have stemmed the acts of World War II and either kept it from happening or been able to put a stopgap, and it would not have been as devastating to the world as it could have, or as it was. So, and if you see evil in your world and in your life, to put a stop to it, be willing to stand up to it and say no and take action and put yourself on the line, put your life on the line, put what needs to be put on the line for good and for the well-being of mankind. So that is our history rewind. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. From time to time, we will come back and visit another point and time or person in history. Next up, we're going to do a double whammy and do two segments that I call That's Just Cool and That's Just Dumb. So we're going to start off with That's Just Cool, and it's a little bit old in the news, but I just figured it's just so cool. I just got to talk about it real quick. Is the actor Chris Pratt. You may know him from Parks and Rec. That's where I first saw him. This show my wife and I love to watch and rewatch now that it is discontinued. And, you know, more recently in Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers and Jurassic Park, and is one of the most well-known actors and blockbuster actors right now. And it's really cool it's just cool to see his willingness in recent months. He's been awarded several different things. I think like the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award thing, and then there was something else that he got. He was offered an award, and both times, and every time lately I've seen him publicly speak, he not only encourages people, to live out who they are, to be happy, to be joyful, to not to be depressed, and not get bogged down, because life can get so easily. We can just look so inwardly and be selfish and self-focused and self-problems, and so he encourages people with that. But also he stands up for something that's not popular in Hollywood and acting and stuff, and he stands up, for his faith in Jesus Christ and God. And that's just a super cool thing that he's willing to do, and he encourages others, to find their faith. And he has a belief, and he's willing to stand up for it. He's willing to say it regardless of criticism or attitudes of other people that he works with, particularly like in his industry. And it really challenges me to do that in my daily living. The things that I believe in, my beliefs, my ideas, my worldview, to not be afraid, particularly if I have views that I think might be a little unpopular, things that people may not like, to not be afraid to share that and share it in a loving way. That's the cool thing too. He's not doing it in a way that's like condemning or like trying to shove it down people's throat. He's just doing it in a really honest, genuine, loving way. And I hope that he encourages you, and I will have a couple links below to a couple YouTube clips, that I've seen him do recently that are just super awesome. But it's just cool to see his honesty in that and being willing to stand up for stuff that's not popular. And I encourage you to do the same thing, to not shrink back, and particularly if you ever have the opportunity in public settings to other people, that there are things that if you have firm beliefs, to be willing to speak up and share that, and do it in a loving way. It's easy to kind of come off as holier than thou, higher, like I have all the right answers, regardless if it's political, regardless if it's religious, regardless if it's, how to use a knife. I mean, whatever it is in life, sometimes we can get on this high horse, and it's cool that Chris Pratt is not doing it from a position of, high and mighty, but of genuine love and honesty. And I encourage you to do the same with friends and family. Just share your heart, what you believe, with friends and family in an honest, open way. So that's just cool that Chris Pratt is doing that, and I hope other actors and people with bigger voices than I and you have continue to do that and just stand up for what's right and what's good in this world. Okay, now this is just dumb. I cannot believe where our society is going to, and just either so much money we don't know what to do. I don't understand where this comes from. So this is our segment, That's Just Dumb. And this is from Friday, August 24th, 2018 on the Times website from what I am seeing here. It's titled, The Latest Probiotic, I'll restate that. The latest probiotic drink, a baby poo smoothie. And it goes on to say it's healthy, it's organic, it's already comes in a smoothie-like consistency, and it uses a resource that we would otherwise throw away. What's not to like about the latest promising probiotic supplement? You have got to be kidding me. I do not know where they are going with this, and from everything I can tell that this is on the Times, and this is from their science editor, and it is something that I guess is some sort of trend that people are taking baby poo, and because I guess it's full of probiotics, and adding it to a smoothie or making it into a smoothie. And I'm literally gagging as I'm saying this to you. It's like in the back of my throat. Where have we come that we are taking baby poo and digesting it? There has got to be a better way. Listen, I have drank some really nasty protein shakes, some really nasty probiotics, and different things like that to make sure that I'm healthy. I'm very conscientious of what I put into my body, and I try to limit what I can, and trying to be as healthy as I can. But putting baby poo for the sake of probiotic into my body is insane. Wow. Imagine those. We talked about World War II and the launch of World War II just a few segments ago. Imagine those soldiers landing on Normandy Beach to free Europe, Fortress of Europe, from Nazi Germany, and them knowing, hey, by the way, like 75 years later, 76 years later, people will be eating baby poo. And it'll be good for their digestive system. I'm sure that they would just hurl. It's just mind-boggling to me. So anyway, that is just dumb. There's got to be a better way to get probiotics. I can't believe it. So anyway, just wanted to share that That's Just Dumb segment with you guys. Cannot believe it. All right, we'll take another brief timeout just to remind you guys of the hyperlinks that we offer to you below. You know, we talked about Knockaround earlier in the video. Blade HQ, Amazon, links below as well over there. That is the main fuel that fuels this channel and helps me continue to make content. So regardless if it's stuff that you're seeing in a particular video or just gear in general, when you guys use those hyperlinks right below the video in the description box, there'll be links to Amazon, links to Blade HQ, links to Knockaround and other affiliates that we land throughout the year and throughout, you know, time. And anytime you use those links, it helps me out. We get that small kickback, then I'm able to invest it back in the channel. I'm able to then not have to go, you know, get some sort of part-time job or funnel money from this thing to this. I can just focus on the channel, focus on the content, focus on the gear and the products and the now show that we're doing, and be able to do that. So it's free for you guys. You just use the hyperlink and then purchase whatever you're going to purchase anyway. And it helps the channel out immensely. So thank you guys for your continued support through all of the hyperlinks that we offer to you. All right, we're going to answer a few questions here from the mailbag real quick as we wrap up this episode today. And this first one comes from Darth Kroll. And Darth Kroll asks, if you didn't have to worry about video equipment, what would be your favorite day pack for hiking? Curious if you lean more tactical style or hiking style. LOL. I know you said it in a previous video that you're limited to huge hiking packs because of all your video equipment, but if you didn't have to carry that, what would you prefer? That's a great question. For me personally, again, because I'm more of a hiker, I'm more of somebody who likes to see distances. We live in the Rocky Mountains, so we do not have a lot of flat area. There's a lot of ups and downs. Suspension is huge for me, and it's just kind of a standard that hiking packs tend to have better suspension. So I gravitate, and particularly if I didn't have to carry a lot of equipment. We saw that in a recent video when we went up and did a 13-mile round trip hike. You know, we did about 2,000 feet of elevation gain. We were testing out at the time as well the Mystery Ranch Scree 32, and that's a hiking style pack, and I prefer that when possible. Now, tactical style, I think I kind of prefer that more around EDC, like around town stuff, going to the office, because you can have a lot more organization. There's usually a lot more organization. You don't need as much structure. There's not like integrated belts that, you know, you can't remove and stuff. And you just don't need all that when you're just going around town. Maybe you're building out like a go bag just to get home, you know, a get home bag, that type of thing. So around town, you know, EDC, I kind of prefer a little more tactical feeling just because there's usually more organization, more modularity with those. And then when I'm out on the trail, if I have an option, I prefer more hiking, you know, like Mystery Ranch or Gregory or KELTY, you know, now VanQuest is getting into that, you know, those type of packs. So I hope that that kind of answers that question. That's my personal opinion when I'm out there on the trail. This next one is a great segue into taking a delicious sip of my home brewed iced coffee out of my Black Rifle Coffee Stanley mug. Insulated. This thing is awesome, by the way. This is like one of my favorite mugs of all time. Have picked up just recently, about 3 months ago, started getting into Black Rifle Coffee, just purchased some, and I've been really digging it. No affiliate yet. Maybe down the line we might land something like that. But yeah, go check them out, guys. I mean, they got some sick stuff, not only gear, but great tasting coffee, and that cold brew that I made myself is awesome. So this next question has to do with coffee. That's why I'm kind of throwing that out there. So this one comes from Nukem. I'm assuming like Duke Nukem. This one says, coffee, light, medium, or dark roast, whole bean or ground, pour over or press, ice, or hot. So there's a lot of questions in there. I'll try and unpack it as quickly as I can. And some of you may not know this, the lighter the coffee, the more caffeine you get. Now you lose flavor, obviously, but you get more caffeine. So if I'm crashing and burning, then I've got to do light roast. So if I'm going into a local coffee shop and I just need a boost, a jolt, then it's going to be a light roast. My preference, though, I love the taste of dark, heavy coffee. I really got into coffee when I did a 2-week mission trip to Russia. I spent 2 weeks over there, Russia. And I had never really gotten into coffee. I was like 18 years old. You know, I'd had it every once in a while, but we were going on like 2 weeks of 5 hours a night, and I just had to have something to keep me awake. And that stuff was like sludge, but I just acquired a taste for it. So I prefer dark, heavy, you know, flavor. So if I'm going for enjoyment and some caffeine, then I'll go with dark roast. The next one is whole bean or ground. For convenience sake, ground is always awesome, so I will do that sometimes, particularly with having 2 small kids and putting a power grinder, it can wake the kids up. So I usually have both in the house. If I have the time and I have the ability, I will do whole bean. I just prefer that. But just for speed, sometimes you don't have time to another step and you're gonna wake the kids up or whatever. I'll use ground when possible, if the opportunity is there and I need that. Pour over or press, again, I would say press if I'm making coffee for my wife and I. She doesn't drink coffee. Mrs. Gideonstactical doesn't have a ton of it a day. I'll go through like 3 to 4 cups a day. She'll usually have maybe 1. So if I'm making it in the morning and I know that she's around and wants some, I'll do a French press. If it's just me, I'll do pour over. And then iced or hot. Again, it just depends on season. Morning is always hot. Evening is iced if I can do it, and I have my own ice maker now that I do coffee. I might throw that in the Amazon links below for those of you who are interested in that. But yeah, I make my own batches of iced coffee as well. So just kind of depends on season, hot, summer season, cold season, winter, all that. So great question. Love talking about coffee. We may even do a coffee segment in the near future. And the guys, that kind of brings me to a close and to wrap up this first pilot episode of the Gideonstactical Show, episode 1. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope it's been entertaining. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the concept, ideas of maybe other segments. These are not the only segments you will see. I have right now planning between 6 and 8 different types of segments. So next episode next week will be a little bit different. We may or may not do the news. We may not do that's just dumb, that's just cool segments. So you'll see different segments coming in. Some weeks will just be mostly interviews with maybe another person. There's lots that we're going to be doing here on the channel, but I want your input. So let me know, one, what your thoughts were on the episode in general. Loved good feedback, and constructive criticism is always beneficial and will make this show a little bit better, a little bit more entertaining. That's the goal with this. It's just fun, just to hang out on Saturday morning together, and while you're getting breakfast going, while you're doing your thing, hanging out with family, maybe it's in the evening, and you're getting ready for bed, play this thing. You get some entertainment, you get some fun, you get some news, you get some just something better than what's on, cable TV these days, and oftentimes it's better on streaming services. I hope that you guys enjoy the channel in this way and with this new idea. But yeah, give me some ideas as well. Don't forget about the mailbag. If you want to get your questions answered in an upcoming video, just put hashtag mailbag and I might pick your question out and answer it in one of our upcoming videos. Don't forget to check us out on all the relevant social media. Please subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. Come back week after week, check out what we're doing, because we're throwing up videos like this every single week. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.